Kind of felt like a movie premiere because we were in the offices just making sure everything was good, and we walk out 10 minutes before the party starts and people are already formulating lines and getting ready. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Family Business with the Alessis. Because we know it, family is everybody's business, and tonight we are coming to you live from the official 42 book launch party. Yeah, we take a moment. We need to pipe in some applause there.
Yes.
We're actually live. There's a lot of people in line right now, but I am blessed to be here with Pastor Armando Gomez and my sister Gabby Alessi. And we're just here to kind of take you into what the night is, what the night feels like here, because this is really, really cool so far.
It's amazing. I mean, it's electric in here. There's Pastor Steve right there.
Right behind us.
Signing a bunch of books.
Signing a bunch of books back there, but the author is right near us. So many people. This isn't a fan thing. This is a respect and honor thing. Good. Pastor Steve is such an amazing man. You've known him all your life. I've known him a lot of my life. And what he did with his book is amazing, and people want to hear more, know about more about 42 and the story. It's
Absolutely.
Awesome.
This is amazing. I love, we were walking in here. We were just talking before we started this. The lobby itself is just hard to get out of because everybody's excited. There's food in the lobby. There's gelato. I mean,
those
meatballs are out there. But not only, like you said, this is a party where we're celebrating, but we're honoring our pastor. We're honoring our dad.
It kind of felt like a movie premiere because we were in the offices just making sure everything was good, and we walk out 10 minutes before the party starts and people are already formulating lines and getting ready. They want to get their book, but that's because this book is really it's not an autobiography. It's not, lessons he's learned in his life. It's all of that and the DNA of what makes us who we are. It's the story of all of these people. It's all of our DNA because we've truly all had a 42 moment, probably going to have more, and that number has just meant so much for us. And at some point in this podcast tonight, we're going to be even calling on some of these people. They don't even know.
They have
but
no
we're
idea.
going to grab them, pull them up here. But let's start with us, okay? So who's read the book so far?
I'm about almost done.
Almost done.
I didn't finish it. I can't lie on
I mean, you could have, and nobody would have known. I finished it
Should I?
yesterday.
Okay, yeah, I read it, the whole thing.
I finished it yesterday because I had a feeling we'd be at this release party, this launch party, and someone would ask me if I've read it all. So I crammed it in yesterday and finished it.
Well, I was lucky enough to be one of the ones that Dad asked to read it early on when we got the first draft and everything. And so I read it back then, about halfway through reading the actual printed out version. But what's been your favorite part so far, Pastor Armando?
I'm reading a story that
you were there for.
We experienced.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful and touching story. So my favorite part is getting the nuanced details that I might not have heard or known, because, he was pretty guarded about talking about some of these things afterwards because he didn't want to go back and relive the moment, and he wanted to move away from it. And now he's put it all in a book. So I'm seeing things that I recognize from it happening, but then I'm reading in between the lines and the lessons. Even that first sermon, remember when he came back and he preached what I learned in 42 minutes, having a heart attack, and then even teachings and things that weren't part of that sermon series or message. So my favorite part is getting in between the lines, after having lived it and gone through the whole moment. So
absolutely,
I'm loving that.
What about you, Gabs? Favorite part?
So I said this right when the book came out and when this was being created. For me, my favorite part was the fact that I get to read about the story, because as much as, yes, I was there for it, I was 7 years old. How much of it do you actually remember? So I've heard people talk about it. I never, actually not until the podcast that you and John did with Pastor Steve, did I know y'all's stories and what you were going through at the time and how you guys had to rush up to Stuart to handle it. I didn't know everybody's perspective. I didn't know the recovery. I just found out, not lying, in the book that Mom and Dad spent all that time in Stuart to recover because I didn't remember. And even when the girls were like, you don't remember? And I was like, we were just kids. We didn't know what was going on. I thought it was back pain. I didn't really know what a heart attack was. And until I read it myself and I got to read the thoughts of my dad and read the thoughts of my mom, and then to hear my mom and the decisions she had to make about the door of life or the door of death.
Yep.
And to hear that, it really resonated with me. So as much as, yes, I wanted to finish the book because I wanted to have it done by now, I couldn't wait to get to the end of this book.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get to the reawakening the dreamer part and to see how the story ended. Because yes, I know how the story ended, but I didn't remember it. So going through this, I feel like I'm getting an inside scoop that a lot of people that don't know Dad and don't know Steve Alessi, we're having the same experience in a way. Because I wasn't old enough to remember it.
Absolutely. Well, I have my favorite part, but before we get into it, let's go grab somebody. Why don't you go get Mike Valdez?
I'll be right back.
He's sitting right over there.
Oh,
now prep him so he knows.
That's good.
Ask him if he's read the book or not. But my favorite part was actually a part in Reawakening the Dreamer chapter. He said, sometimes the dreamer in you needs a punch in the face. That's so real, because there are sometimes, grab somebody else. He's coming? Oh, I love it. Sometimes that she goes to get him, by the way, and then I see him leave. So I'm like, all right, get somebody else. But apparently he's just getting ready for you.
He's bigger than Gabby, so she couldn't force him over here.
But for me, I know there are times where it's not coming naturally. The energy I need for the day, or the go get it, and that guy needs to be punched in the face. But that's a great way to segue into our guy, Mike.
He had to throw out his gum.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, you could have come up here with gum. We would have been okay.
We're going to get you up here for a minute or two.
Okay.
Because we're going to cycle through a bunch of people.
No problem.
But this is Mike Valdez.
Come on, Mike.
One of our favorite people, church member, and he was a part of our church when this event took place. Am I right?
Yes, I was.
How long have you and your family been coming to Metro?
I'm going to say 17 years.
So right before the heart attack?
A few years before, maybe 1 year, a little bit more.
Have you read the book?
Yes, I've been reading the book. Well, I'm part of the book.
Yes, you are.
So I know everything about the book. Pretty much I know everything.
Explain.
Yes, okay. So I was here before the heart attack. So I know about 42.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Since the beginning. So I'm part of it. Because I know everything, how everything went down. So, and a lot of things that I do now because of what happened to Pastor. Like one of the things that, like, in my mind, after that happens to Pastor, like, listen, we are nothing. We can go in a second.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I do in life that I do because of 42, because of what happened there. So there's a lot of things, like every year for my birthday, I take my whole family with me somewhere. I don't care what it is. If we don't have money, we'll stay home, but all of us together.
We'll stay home together.
But together.
We're making
everybody. And it's a lot of us, Right now, it's 16 of us all together. The wife, the kids, and the grandkids, it's a lot.
Wow.
And the partners, the wives and the husbands. So it's a lot of us, but we do it because of it, because of what happened with Pastor.
That changed. Any minute.
Yeah, because that completely changed my mindset with, life is like nothing. We can, in a second, we can just not be here.
He just hopped on here and started preaching. This guy, he was sitting back there and just talking. Look at it. It's in his heart.
Well, because, like I say, 42 is part of my life.
Yes,
I'm part of the book. So my best of all this is what the title, the bottom part of the
finishing well.
Finishing well.
And you're almost finished.
Okay, because, my whole life, I've been wasting my life. And something happened in your life that maybe it's not your life, but somebody that you love, and then you're like, hey, you realize, we're not here for, we just, it can change in a second.
In a second.
In a second.
And he's had, him writing this book has had that effect on so many people, but him living the story has had an effect on so many people. Like all of us that have been around feel the same way. It's such a special night, not because it's a book launch, but because after 15 years, here he is putting pen to paper and telling everyone the story so that they can feel just like you. I'm part of this book now. It's the reason that I do this or I do that, because life is but a vapor. I mean, it could be, you never know.
You never know.
So I'm going to go grab the next person. I have a really great surprise. Mike, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Say one more thing to say goodbye.
Okay, I just want to say you have to buy the book, you have to read the book, and you have to comment. You have to make sure you reach somebody, or buy multiple books and send to somebody. I already did. I bought a lot. I want to give to all my co-workers, to all my to everybody that I know. I want to give a book. Okay,
that's so
like
good.
so I can change somebody's life with the 42 moment. You know,
it's blessed to be a blessing.
Amen.
Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it,
guys. All right.
We'll see you soon.
Okay, I want to introduce this one because you introduced the last one. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for one of my best friends, Danya Montejo. And he just spit up right as we're filming.
Oh, it's perfect.
Can you tell this is live and unedited?
Not only
we got
that,
baby spit.
But the whole point of 42 is life's messy.
Yeah. And I wish it was like smell. What is it like? Smell TV. So you guys can smell this.
So who do we have here so the world knows?
This is Vinny.
Little Vincent.
Vinny.
What's up,
Hi,
buddy?
Vinny.
Okay,
Hi.
so Donna's been a part of our church, her and her husband, for 7 years.
7 years.
7 years. One of my first real good friends, kind of in my young adult season of life. They've been here forever. They serve all the time. They popped out 3 kids in 4 years. Yep. And Danya still wants more, so she hasn't finished yet. But Danya, tell us, what does 42 mean to you and your family?
I think it's just, I mean, we've always said this, like your family, and I think all of the staff family that works here as well, like everyone just carries themselves to like a level of excellence. So it's like, even in like being on the other side and being so close to your family, like we've seen like the hardship that you guys have gone through, and it's like how you guys are at home to where you guys are here, same person, but how you guys compose yourselves when like stuff at home is like not A-okay. I think that's what 42 is like, you know, you still have to be strong, you still have to like have your composure. You still have to follow what the Word of God says, even though, like, I would think of, like, the little meme of SpongeBob where, like, everything behind him is like, on fire. And, like, we're okay. Everything's okay.
Can we get, like, a Scooby-Doo reference? Because I didn't watch SpongeBob.
This is where Alan or Ashley's going to input the
meme right here. And a Scooby-Doo one for you.
And a Scooby-Doo one. I like that.
But, yeah, I think that's what 42 is. And honestly, like, I think this whole like season of us developing, because I feel like I've heard the story a million times, and every time I hear it, there's like a new detail that like he's never talked about. So it's like this fascinating story that like
continues to unroll.
Yeah.
You know, when I hear you say about composure, and even, you know, we're talking to Pastor Chris and Gabby and the whole family, that composure has come directly from Pastor Steve being able to stay composed. Like, if you read this book, because it just keeps bringing me back to the book. If you read this book, you may find a certain level of being able to handle the things that are going to happen in life.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not a heart attack for everyone, right? But 42s are just hits, big hits. And here you are saying that you've learned at your age with 3 kids now and your husband how to live a composed life. You need that when 3 kids are crazy, crying, going nuts. It's all over the place. How am I going to move into tomorrow?
And it doesn't stop. Our church is reading the 90 days, right? And when was it? Yesterday that we read in Matthew? Yeah. I'm reading it in the Message this time. And basically what Jesus says is like you run into that, like, what was it, Gabby? Run into the fear, or run into like what your 42 moment is, and just like fall on Jesus, like give it to God, but like run into like whatever that like craziness is, and like endure through that. Like
don't run from it.
Yeah, don't run from it, but run to it.
Yeah.
Well, Danya, it's been amazing having you and our boy Anna. She still cleans up the spittle.
There we go.
Oh, I love it. And he's wearing a little football. Him and Marina will get along well.
He will watch this 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and be like, you let me spit
on a live podcast.
Live podcast on camera.
On Pastor's 42.
On the book launch. Happy book launch.
If only podcasts were scratch and sniff.
Oh.
Okay, so I picked the first one. Gabby picked the second one. Pastor Armando, go grab somebody.
Let's go get somebody.
I love it. Okay, Chris, while we wait, we have seen as the books come out, ever since Dad came up with the whole 42, or it was on his heart, we have seen the number 42 in so many places, so many strange places. Can you either narrow down the one that creeped you out the most, or where have you seen that number come around?
The craziest one for me was there's a story in the book about Tower Group and members of our church that were building a construction company that they lost at the exact same time, and we're going to get to our big guy Ariel in a second. But they went after they lost their business. It's going to be great. After they lost their business, I'm trying to keep the story
You got
going.
it, go.
They lost the business. They went and relaunched another construction company years later. And the project they were working on around the time that we created the 42 message was building number 42.
Crazy.
It was at the exact same time. But we got our boy Ariel here.
How's
Welcome,
it going, guys?
sir.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
So what we're doing tonight is we're just grabbing people and we're asking them, A, what does 42 mean to them, or what's been your favorite part of the book? Have you read any of the book yet?
Yeah, sure. I read the first chapter.
What's your favorite part of chapter 1?
The part about the plate of Alfredo that looked like Italy.
This is why you need an Ariel to come on this, because it's such a sweet and it's like a deep and sad story.
You got family that run
Heart
Italian
attack, and he's
restaurants.
like,
That's
I like
the first thing that
spaghetti.
came into my head because again, remember Dad used to come to
Your restaurant.
our restaurant.
Oh my God.
After that, so
Can I
Pastor
tell you,
Mary.
your pasta visual soup was the best I've ever had. I
Yeah.
just want to insert that there.
Yeah.
Well, back
We
to the
had-
importance of it,
That's
it's
why I
like-
say you guys were younger back then, but Pastor Steve used to come and I would pour them and give them a plate, and Pastor Mary would always look at me like saying, enough.
I'm glad that was after and not before.
Yeah, that was
I know.
after.
I
Yeah, that was
know.
after.
What does 42 mean to you?
42 means, I got to tell them, man, after the story and learning how to finish well, and it's what he's been putting in our hearts. I just got this thrive in me, this push in me now to finish well, to be able to finish well with my kids, with myself personally, with working out, mind, body, and soul is the way I look at it. Mind, body, and soul, and just trying to finish well, to do right by my kids, my family, my church, my community. That's why I got like 10 books to sign. I can't get them all signed today.
I love it.
I want to evangelize with them. It's
Yeah.
great. I mean, there's a guy.
We can talk later. I can get him signed for you.
You know somebody? Great.
He's got someone on the inside.
I'll put one in his mailbox every day for 10 days straight. But we'll get it done. And there's this gentleman who has a debilitating heart disease. My partner's brother, who just got terrible news that his quality of life is not going to be the same. He can't play the golf that he's been playing, that he's accustomed to doing. He gets out of breath just by getting up and going to the door. So this is somebody that I think God can move and do something in his life, and that miracle that let's see what God can do.
God can do through
yeah,
this
let's
book.
see. Yeah, God is a God of all of a sudden.
And you know what? I think he's going to really like the story of the crow taking the cigar on the golf course.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
I think he's
gonna
going to
love
really connect with
Yes.
that.
You're
But
gonna
you know
love
what's
that.
nuts? Of all 3 people we brought up here so far, they are all people that experienced a season that should have finished them.
Yes.
And yet they're here, thriving and finishing well.
Yes.
I'm so glad he hopped on here because, hey, you brought energy, but you brought up a point that we hope everybody would get. This is a perfect evangelism tool.
It is.
Yeah.
It
It's
is.
a great. My own book, I leave 10 or 12 in my car. So I go grab them, give them to somebody.
Yep.
I'm doing the same with 42 because I think that's a book. This is going to pull people more than any other book.
Exactly.
I really think that.
Exactly. There's another one. There's a gentleman that works with us. He just turned 42. It's not by coincidence. And I think it's time for him to learn more about Christ and learn about the
So
story.
good.
So that's another book that I want to give. And of course, my partner and other people's that we know that.
God.
Kaylee. This is another story. You heard about that one.
Yes.
Kaylee's one of the best girls softball players probably in the country. Unfortunately, she got hit with some cancer. She's battling. She's going into chemo. We gave her a book, and God's doing some amazing things. We're just praying for
Praise
that
God,
miracle.
Wow.
She can
That's
get back on the
awesome,
field,
man.
man. So there's a lot of things that are going on.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
Okay, the next guest is going to be hard to follow up on this one.
I know,
Gabby,
right?
it's your turn to pick somebody.
No, it's you. It went back to
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Oh, it goes back
I
to
have,
me.
I have.
Okay, then you go get them, and I'll switch.
No, you go. Let me come.
Okay, fine.
You know,
We're not
Hey.
going to tell you.
okay, he's gone, so we can just talk. All
Okay,
right,
so let me ask you.
Okay, go ask
where
me.
have you seen the number 42? And it's
Everywhere.
but it's weirded you out. Because for me, it was when we got the books in, and the weight was 42 pounds.
Okay, that of
That
course.
was the 42 book
the
case
box that came in, like the preview box of
and
the
it
books.
was 42 pounds.
42 pounds exactly.
That weirded me out.
Okay, so I haven't thought of a time that it's weirded me out, but I do feel like I see it everywhere now.
Everywhere.
Like we were just reading in Matthew, where we started in Matthew, 14 generations from Adam,
From Adam
to the exile,
Right,
and then the
geez.
exile to whatever. It was 14,
Yes.
14, 14. Halfway through the day, I'm like, 14, wait a second. 14, 14, and 14, that's 42. So like that one got me because it's even a biblical number.
Yeah.
Through 3 generations. Guys, you guys are in 3 generations. Well, I know there's more, there's like 4, but when I'm looking from Pastor Steve down, it's 3 generations down now. So it was like, boom, it was crazy.
Okay,
right.
PC, what are you going to do?
Okay, so right now we have Christian Kaladiu.
We had to,
we
get some
guys?
young blood in here.
Got to get some young blood.
No, we had Danya.
Oh, Danya.
We'll do a girl next.
Danya, that's
Look at
right.
us. Chang Chiomi Soda. Christian is a part of our team here. He's phenomenal. Love the guy. Christian, tell us, what does 42 mean to you?
42, I think it's something that we all kind of have our own 42 moment, and it's something that you really learn as you become a part of Metro Life Church. And granted, I was raised in Metro Life Church. The DNA and the culture is embedded into almost my faith. You know, it's part of what I do. But the 42 moment, really what it means to me is there's so much more life on the other side of our own 42 moments. You know, I've seen Pastor, when it happened, we were kids.
Yeah.
I was the same age as Gabrielle, and it was something that there's so much more life on the other side of things. Stephanie has a kid.
Yeah.
PC has a kid on the way. It's just, there's so much more life on the other side of the 42 moment. And to be frank, I haven't read the book just yet. I'm going to read it. Yeah.
You were there.
I was there, and I'm going to read it. And, it's such an amazing victory for our pastor.
Yeah.
And what God does in one, he does in the others. So it's just such an amazing victory. And that's really what 42 means to me. There's so much more life on the other side of what seems to be a loss. It really is a victory in the long term.
That's good. Very good. Good job, Christian.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
Very good.
You guys continue. I'm going to go get our next victim.
I will. PC, my wife was telling me in the car today
This is so fun, by the way.
about one of her favorite parts was you can't either get past or break through the walls that you haven't identified, or you can't. Like if you don't know the wall that's holding you back, it was when we were going to remodel where we're sitting, there was a big wall right here.
Oh, yeah.
And he talked about you can't, I forget the exact words, but you can't defeat a wall that you haven't identified. And I was thinking about that with her, about how powerful that is when we look at the things that are going on in our life, but we can't put our finger on it and we can't defeat it. We got to put our finger on it and say, okay, this is the wall that I'm facing. Is it a spiritual attack? Is it a physical attack? And all of that is something you're going to find in the book, and how to deal with that. Like, who else will tell you? Most people say, man, bust that wall down. You can do it. Rah, rah, rah. This self-help stuff, right? But here's Pastor Steve saying, you're not getting through the wall unless you identify.
Unless you
that
point
wall.
it out.
Then when you know what it is, now you can defeat it.
Look at this guest.
Holy moly.
Oh, we can just leave. She can carry the show.
Kicking and
all by
screaming,
herself.
we get you up here. How
Wow.
are you?
How surprised are we? Oh my gosh.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Carol Rohde, belong to Dennis Rohde.
I belong to Dennis
Yes,
Rohde.
yes.
Now, what people don't know is if you go and watch The Chosen and you watch the episode of the feeding of the 5,000, try to pause it during the span of the people. You're going to
Look
see.
for Waldo. Yes,
You're
look
gonna
for
see
Waldo.
Dennis and Carol.
That's right, they were in
Have
it.
you had a chance to read the book at all?
I'm halfway through it. Dennis finished it in one sitting.
Of course he did. That's the
Yes,
kind of
he
man
did.
he is.
Yes.
What's been your favorite part halfway through?
My favorite part is that I relate a lot more than I thought I would, because it brings me back to a lot of my 42s that I didn't realize
Wow.
were pivotal moments in my life that are 42s. I learned more about my pastor, and that was nice to get an insight as to, pastors don't always have the glory life,
Right.
and things happen whether you're pastors or not. So yeah, and to see them always get up and always come through it, that was good.
Wow.
That was very good.
I guess for us, we don't have the perspective of somebody that wasn't there, came afterwards, and has now learned a large portion. So it's so cool to get that perspective, because outside of Danya, everybody we else brought up was kind of there.
No,
But
we
it doesn't-
came a few years after, a couple years after all that happened, so we just heard about it very, very lightly, but we didn't know about you and about, you know, Lauren and, you know, like, and you know, we knew she had infertility, your mom, and I could relate with that, but not to the extent. So it's just, you know, her feelings and how she felt, you relate a lot.
Yeah.
I don't care what your 42 is. You relate a lot to this book.
What a testament! What a testament to the book.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go to Metro Life Church. You don't have to have been here.
No.
You don't have to have had the physical history of going through the whole thing. You could just pick up the book and learn life lessons from it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you know what? 42 moments aren't always massive.
No.
Our own mom, Pastor Mary, a couple of weeks ago, the day that we got the books and we unveiled the books, she falls and breaks her shoulder 2 days before our Spring Fest, where she had to lead a concert. She got up there in a sling and led worship. She
And
looked at the
here's
wall.
Why.
There's
Here's why. That's the whole thing in the book. You know what? They've gone through all of this.
That's right.
And they've always come out.
Yeah.
You
On
know,
top.
they don't let it. They don't let it suck them
No.
in.
It's moments. It's moments that define you.
Yes.
That's what 42 moments are, and it relates to everyone. That
Exactly.
relates to everyone.
I think it'll relate to
Wow,
everybody because
Carol.
I think 42 moments are going to come out of people's life that go, whoa. Yeah. I remember I had this 42 moment, you know, and it was my life, my life. But you relate to him. And I love that saying. If you're not dead, God's not done.
I love it.
I know, I love it too.
She's the first guest to bring it up. We got 5 guests, first one.
I love it.
Thank you for being here.
We've bought books for other people because
It's an evangelism tool. We've been talking about it.
Thank you.
Hey, you did great, by the way, for being all nervous.
Boom.
Okay, now I think we have time for one more guest,
Okay.
and I have an idea.
Okay.
Ooh.
I have an idea. What if we grab Grandmommy, Sister Ann, Pastor Ann?
Okay.
I like
Did
that
you
one
have
just
another
as
idea?
much because I thought you were going to steal him after this book signing.
Oh,
Either
no,
him
no,
or
no.
Pastor Mary. They haven't heard from Pastor
Well,
Mary.
he can at
Mary
least-
and Grandmommy. Get them both.
Okay.
Get them both.
Might take some time. That's fine.
That's good.
That's fine. We know. Okay. So,
We're being yelled at.
no, it's a live thing at a live party.
He was just telling us what time it is.
Well,
So are we getting?
let's do this. Honestly, we could bring so many people
Yeah.
up
And he'll probably do a podcast.
with her. So let's
Yeah.
save it for with her.
Yeah.
If anything, we'll edit this whole last minute and a half out. But having Carol up here, having our guests, it just shows that 42 is not a Metro Life thing.
Yeah.
It's not an Alessi thing. It's not the family business thing only. This is for anybody, whether they know Christ or not. This is an evangelism tool. It's a book that can help anybody. Every single person up here could have given up,
Yeah.
but they didn't. And so we just want to really encourage everybody. Grab a book, grab a bunch of books, get it out there. This is something that everybody will connect with. You guys want to leave any last thoughts?
Well, I was going to say, even if you get extra books, or even if you recommend, like I have it still in my phone when people tell me, hey, you got to read this book. I put it in my phone, and as I'm reading books, I go down this list. So even just word of mouth or writing a quick review about what you read is going to help move the book. Not just to move the book, it's to move people. It's to get people to understand that their life, if you're not dead,
God's
there's a
not
big
done.
screen right over there that says this. If you're not dead, God's not done.
Yeah.
And people need to know that, because I have felt defeated in my life. We have all felt defeated in our life, but we're not, because we'll be underground.
Yeah.
That's when the true victory after the defeat will come. Right now, we got more things to do.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to say is this. If you think this book is only about Pastor Steve, you have no idea, and that's why you need this book.
Yep.
Because this book consists of people in our church family, they're 42, my 42, my sister's 42. It's a combination, a collection of stories of people that are finishing well, that at a time we thought we were finished or we didn't know how we were going to finish, and we're all learning how to finish well. And so you just need to read the book. Even if you're not a Christian, even if you're not a believer and you don't really know how this all works, read the book and see for yourself how this is going to bless you.
Thank you for being here and joining us for another episode of The Family Business with the Alessis, because if you're not dead,
God's
God's
not done.
And family's everybody business. Thanks for joining us. Hey there, if you enjoyed this episode of the Family Business Podcast with the Alessis, then you'll want to know we've got more insight, more encouragement, more great conversations that we can have on Sundays, and even some surprises coming your way. So you want to make sure you subscribe to our channel and watch one of these next videos here next, because remember, family is everybody's business.